Yeah, this is me trying to do a little cinematic camera rotation just to show off the brand new armor of my character. This is actually a really badass armor, I'm not gonna lie. I picked this up from killing the Heide Knights around here. They drop this armor every once in a while. Not only do I love the design of it, its torn cape and the protection it provides, but it's just the aesthetics of it. Just looks, it's just, in my opinion, it's my favorite armor so far this game. What's going on, you guys? This is Ice Hands, and for this video, it's gonna be slightly different than all of my other Let's Plays, in the sense that I am actually doing post-video commentary simply because I've said it a couple of times by now that I have been experiencing nothing but problems with my Logitech headphones. So what's happening here is I'm actually going to get into a fight with this Heide Knight right here. I bypassed him in my last video because I simply wanted to just go straight to the bonfire, and then I kind of forgot about him. So I just wanted to show that I could actually beat him here, or that it is doable to beat him here, even though this is a really narrow fight way. I did learn that it only takes 4... He almost knocked me up right there too, right? It takes me 4 power strikes to kill this Heide Knight. I used to have a lot of trouble with him before, but you probably noticed I kinda just avoided dodging his attacks altogether because I just want to kill him as fast as possible before I got knocked off the edge. But yeah, this is, or by the end of the video, there's roughly 2 hours of raw video footage, so I'm just going to be fast forwarding, cut and pasting all over the place, just cutting out all of the transitioning parts where I'm just running point A to point B, simply because there are no enemies in the area. I completely cleared out this entire area, at least all the areas you've seen in my previous videos. I haven't touched any other areas that you guys have not seen yet because I don't want you guys to miss out on anything. So I have not fought this giant hammer knight here. At least you guys haven't seen yet, and this is me just messing around with the, I just realized you can actually power stance the shield. I don't know what it does, but I'll probably experiment what it does sometime off scene. Usually I have success just running around him, and he misses me with the hammer, but I guess he got me that time. Yeah, these guys roughly take 3 to 4 hits with the Morning Star that I carry now, so they're really not that big of a deal anymore, and it's pretty frequent that they drop these blue-eyed, or these cracked blue orbs, or whatever they were called. So there's the other Heide Knight who's actually blocking a chest, and then there's the boss behind the little misty doorway there. And I'm just trying to actually get my weapons into power stance mode simply because it's just so effective here. I didn't do it there, but now I did. Sometimes the game just unsets it from power mode to regular stance mode. I don't know why the game does that sometimes, but this Heide Knight, he's already gonna do his, yeah, when he does that, you gotta watch out. When he stands really still like a statue, he definitely going to perform a super speed strike on you. So again, this is me being extremely reckless. I'm just, every once in a while I'll phase him just like that, but for the most part he doesn't get phased. So either I have no stamina left or he's just too fast, so he inflicts damage on me. Again, I had to fast forward again because for starters, I ended up getting a phone call, so I had to actually get on the phone for a bit. And then after that, I realized I completely forgot about this chest, so I returned, opened up the chest, and I started freaking out a bit because, you know, I never fought this boss before, and I was taking my time looking for a ring to equip as well, but because I was a little nervous, I decided to summon an NPC. This isn't a player, it's actually an NPC. So I summoned an NPC to help me with this boss fight, just to simplify things. Of course, in the end, I just come to find out that this boss is actually no different than those giant knights I've been fighting all around the tower. You can see me just going in there and giving him that I don't give a shit attitude because I'm just hanging right behind him and just wailing on his ass. And at the time of playing as I was actually just commenting on how easy he was, and I did not realize I could have done that on my own. He really is no different than the other big knights, because the only difference between him and the other guys is he has a spear instead of a hammer or sword, and he has the strike moves, which are in a way similar to the hammer bash. I mean, it's so direct you can dodge it, and the only other difference is he has far more health, so it's like fighting 10 of those giant knights, I guess you could put it.
Are you from these parts? My name is Lycia. I have come to spread the art of miracles, a practice of which I am a disciple. I can see that you are well suited to comprehend their wondrous power, but the cost of it, that's for your heart to decide. I'd heard awful rumors about this place, and I'm afraid they were all true. The king, gone. The earth, ravaged. The burden on the people weighs heavy. I fear that, by now, they may have scarce room in their hearts for miracles. Why did I come here? Well... do I need any other reason than to spread the gospel of miracles? My preceptor always said this art should be shared with the world. And such is my only wish. Sometimes I fight the urge to pack up and go back home. It is... well, I must do this. And being out here all alone only makes this a more fitting test of my fortitude. I expected this cathedral to be bustling, but there's hardly a soul to be found here. Without any goings-on, I'll have to move soon, to a place I could help the gullible, by teaching the good word.
So I actually made a comment on how I feel like this woman is a little conspicuous. She cut herself off from finishing a certain sentence, and then she had to reiterate what she was saying. Then she gave the little chuckle at the end. So I found that a little peculiar, like she's up to something. Now this area is funny. You notice messages are all over the place, and at this part I was actually commenting on the two messages I was reading. One of it was like this one right here, it says liar ahead, and the reason it was so funny is because it was directing to this message that was behind me, because pretty much if you were to go where I just went, I circled around this little room, and it takes you right back to the same spot to the other message where it actually says pointless. So it was just a little joke. That's why these comments can be a little funny. But I'm just doing a little exploring here. I'm actually trying to observe why there are blood puddles here. Every time you see blood puddles, it just kind of makes you feel like, there could be potential enemies here. And of course this guy died from, I don't know what he died from, but over time I started to understand that just because there's blood puddles there, it does not mean that they're actually enemies. You just gotta remember that player invasions can happen at almost any time. So these blood puddles, you know, they can kind of fool you in a way, because you think there's enemies around the corner and you're ready for it, but really it's just NPCs, because the next thing you know, nothing's coming out to get you. So that's one remarkable thing about this game. It's always keeping you on your edge, and especially at those times when, you know, say an NPC kills you and you have to go through just a lot of work to retrieve your souls. Say you drop 20, 30, 50,000 souls and you're kind of freaking out, like, alright, you know what, I gotta go through and re-kill all these enemies again just to retrieve my souls. But then it starts to creep into your mind that, I could be invaded at any time here and I could lose all those souls. So you start freaking out. So it's kind of like, I think I better get there as fast as I can. So you might start to actually just start skipping a bunch of enemies and just start running for those souls. So this game, man, it always keeps you on the edge. So again, there's a lot of transitioning going on in this video. Again, like I said, there's about 2 hours of raw video footage, and I really just kind of don't feel like sitting here and just doing post commentary for 2 straight hours. So I'm actually just trying to cut out a lot of just me standing around, and all this standing around is because, like I said, I was commentating, I was talking, I was trying to make conversation during these moments, and I'm also reading all these little messages that people are just planting all over the place. As you see, there's a whole trail of them, and there is that knight standing over there. If you recognize him from before, at the in the tower, what is it? The fallen forest of the fallen giants or something like that. Remember, we had to fight this big knight with a big shield who's guarding the door that I have no access to. That's exactly what this guy is, except this one had the spear instead of a, I think it was a sword last time. But yeah, he was literally just one-hit KO'd, so he's a lot easier than before. I don't know if that's because the previous version was meant to be stronger because he was guarding a gate, or if it's because I have just become a stronger character altogether. So this is me just being extra cautious. I'm trying to see if this chest is a trap or not. That's why they always have these messages here. But when you don't see blood puddles around the chest, usually it's a good sign. But then again, sometimes you never know. You could be disconnected from the servers, and I guess that wouldn't make any sense because the messages would disappear too. But if you recall my past gaming experience, I do not like being in sewers. I don't think this is necessarily a sewer, it's like an underground dungeon. But I believe we are actually getting there though. I just hate sewers. I don't know what it is about video games, or should I just say sewers in video game. There is a lift here. And I was just hoping that it was going to go upward, but I just checked the ceiling to see if there was an opening gap up there, which there wasn't. So I was a little bummed. And then I started freaking out that I forgot to completely check the area for loot, but I don't think there was really any there. So I didn't really miss out on anything, but we do keep going down and down and down, and it makes me wonder, how can we go down any lower when this entire castle is built on top of water? So I don't really understand the whole story to that. I mean, did you notice? It looked like the castle was either it was sinking into the ocean, or there was a massive flood at one point. Something went on. I mean, it's kind of weird that none of the water actually sunk in here. They must have built the place pretty sturdy to not succumb to the water weight of the ocean. I mean, yeah, there's a little leakage here, but nothing severe. Yeah, I was also being a little cautious here because I kind of felt like something was gonna pop out of the water, but the water just, it's not steep at all, so you can actually see the flooring and the tiles. And of course, I freaked out as soon as I saw the pair of eyes sitting right there, and I was like, what the hell is this? It's this guy again I remember from before. Oh man, those things are just so freaky. Of course, I try to attempt it, and he ended up spewing out the I don't know if that's poisonous gas or what, but there actually was an ambush awaiting for me there. I think about 3 guys were there. So that definitely caught me by surprise. Saw a couple of blood puddles there, so I guess quite a few people were not very successful at surviving this ambush here, but it's really not so bad. But thankfully this underground portion of the game is not, it's not dragged on, so I don't really have to stay down here long. But I still believe that because this game is Dark Souls, there's gonna be more dark areas. But I am bummed that there is another statue blocking progression here. So evidently I'm gonna have to go find another, I think it's the branch of Yore. We found a few of these by now, and I've already used one, and I kind of regret it. I think this is just gonna be one of my long time coming references or joke, because I wasted a branch of Yore, which I guess are pretty rare in this game, on a statue that pretty much led me to no progression in the game whatsoever. It was just an additional area that not only did it lead me to so many deaths and just, oh, I was so flustered because the pursuer I had to fight there. I'm just repeating, aren't I? I think I've complained about this a few times since then, but it was so terrible. That pursuer spammed his magic spell so much. 90-something% of my fails were because of him spamming that dark magic. It's not because I was a noob or anything, just the game said F you, F you, F you. And the only time, I guess the reason I managed to actually succeed in the very end was because I took absolutely no hits whatsoever. So I think you saw that I successfully parried every single attack, and I just unleashed hell on him. And I did a little research saying, you know, how do you avoid or how do you prevent him from using his dark magic, and they said he has to hit you with a cursed strike. But I've had moments where he unleashed his cursed attack as soon as he spawned. So I feel like a patch kinda just made him more challenging, made him just do whatever he felt like doing. You know, you don't need to do anything to trigger an event for him to do something like that. So it was just an unfair moment, and like I said, I just took it as a big joke. I laughed it off at the end. I'm glad it didn't really make me mad or anything, because I guess it's just dev's way of just trolling you, because you think that after going through so much hard work you'd be awarded at the end. And the reason why it was so funny is because I didn't get my reward. I felt like I got a harassment joke, because I thought I was gonna jump into a coffin-like boat, which is going to transition me to a new area, and instead of doing any of that, all it did was give me a sex change, and I think that was the joke right there. I don't know if people actually wanted to change their sexes or if the devs are just being silly, but I think that's going to be one of the highlights of my Dark Souls entire playthrough. I'm not sure. So anyway, what's going on here is, you probably noticed that I went into a very dark area called No Man's Wharf. I actually decided to go ahead and go back to this area, knowing that this little arena branches off to 2 separate ways. So I'm fighting off the rest of these Heide Knights, and I'm fighting this guy who has a spear. He's quite a formidable challenge, and I figured that one of the hardest, or one of the ways to beat him is to actually do a couple of backstabs. It's just really silly, because it seems like these Heide Knights just have so much more health than the Giant Knights. He just took 2 full backstab, which are actually critical hits, and he's still walking around. I think all I gotta do now is just to hit him. But yeah, I gotta take care of this guy. He has some crazy range with that spear. And he almost killed me there. He did kill me a couple of times. I just went ahead and cut it all out. and we are actually going to be approaching the dragon, which I unfortunately found out is more likely impossible to approach because he spits out flames that the phase between unleashing his flame, it's so tight, there's no way you can actually approach him without getting knocked back by the flame. And he breathes flame for so long, he actually knocks you down a couple of times, so it's actually enough to kill you if you're well within range. So I end up just retreating for now. I feel like this is one of the areas you're gonna have to return later when you have better equipment. So I actually decided to go ahead and return to a previous area called the Lost Bastille, I think it's called. Yeah, I just decided I'm gonna go ahead and continue from here in the next video, but that has been my entire recording session. I have just cut out so much. This has been reduced down to about a 20-minute video, so yeah, a lot of cutting and editing and transitioning going on here. So this was my post commentary video. It's been a long time since I've done one of these, but that is the end of my Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the Person playthrough through the rest of the Heide Tower of Bastille. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.